Building back better following disasters means going beyond restoring the way things were, but rather enabling affected communities to achieve a greater level of resilience through recovery. It is not enough that a hospital and clinics are rebuilt, but rather people need to receive medical care. It is not sufficient enough to just rebuild a school. It can be sufficient if children attend and teachers teach. And, furthermore, these institutions and the community as a whole should continue to function when the hazard re-manifests itself. Recovery efforts should systematically strengthen disaster-related agencies, provide fully functioning early warning systems, and thus contribute to advancing efforts to implement the Hyogo Framework for Action. We are facing intense global fluctuations. The concern is that the resources available for effective recovery efforts will be reduced. In addition, due to climate change, the pattern of natural hazards is altering. Natural hazards are increasing their frequency, intensity, and the impact of disasters.
Vocational training is key to the ILO's longer-term plan for Aceh. By identifying skills shortages and providing people with new skills, the Achenese will gain expertise to find more permanent and satisfying work once the reconstruction phase gathers pace. Computer classes, conducted by the ILO and a local partner NGO, are in high demand. English lessons are also proving popular as Aceh opens up to the world and local people seek jobs with the international agencies helping to rebuild their province.
Llueve bastante, cuando los huracanes vienen son bastante fuertes. Entonces hicimos este módulo para refugio para los huracanes. Cuanto en eso ahora está soplando mucho la brisa, uno está asegurado con eso ahí. Muy buena la ventaja, uno se protege de eso. Si hay algún vecino, uno se le da refugio también a los vecinos, porque es bastante grande, que cabemos bastante, la familia entera.
La importancia es porque al ser mujer tener el proyecto de hacer módulos ante huracanes, entonces vio la importancia de ponernos a nosotras las mujeres una fábrica de bloques. Así nosotras fabricamos nuestro propio bloque que vamos a usar en los módulos anti huracanes, para refugio cuando hay huracán. No tienen que trasladarse la dueña de las casas de un sitio a otro, sino se quedan en su propia casa.
Ahora mismo estamos trabajando con unos escalones que estamos haciendo para tener la facilidad cuando el río suba, de subir más cómodo, los niños no tengan problemas para subir.
The Grenada Red Cross Society has introduced a number of innovative measures in the Reconstruction program.
We had a number of community fairs, community gatherings where you may not have benefited directly from a house roof or a house from Red Cross or probably from government, but at these public forums we had the builders and the volunteers showing the public how to apply the hurricane straps and issues of disaster risk reduction so that they can go back and ensure that if they're building on their own, that they could take the necessary measures to ensure that the houses are safer and stronger. And that program was applauded, especially by the single female-headed households who had to hire builders. I recall in particular one woman, taking the brochures and watching eagerly, and she said, I have to stop my builder in the morning unless he decides to do it according to that way. Because here were some builders who were just going in and trying to, make a quick money on people and not using safer, risk reduction methods.
In August 2008, 3 hurricanes and 1 tropical storm hit Haiti. Beyond the extensive flooding throughout the country, the city of Gonaïves was covered by some 3 million cubic meters of mud. Public and private basic infrastructure was damaged, including roads, bridges, water and sanitation systems, schools, hospitals, and housing. Huge economic losses were sustained in the agricultural sector. In response to the Haitian government's request for assistance to evaluate damages and losses, the World Bank, the United Nations, the European Commission, and other partners joined forces to conduct a comprehensive post-disaster needs assessment, financed in part through the World Bank-managed Global Facility for Disaster Reduction and Recovery, or GFDRR. Results from the assessment show that the overall impact, estimated to be $897 million, represents the largest disaster for Haiti in more than 100 years. Apart from short-term recovery and longer-term reconstruction, the assessment identified long-term disaster risk management needs to reduce the impact of future potential disasters. The success of this joint assessment mission proves once more the importance for the international community to provide appropriate, timely, and well-coordinated assistance under the leadership of affected countries. Efforts to reduce disaster risks must be integrated not only into development strategies with the aim of reducing poverty, but also into public policies and programs for sustainable recovery and reconstruction.
Well, when a disaster strikes, a natural disaster strikes in particular, it's very important that the recovery effort be nationally led. But often, in that moment of disasters, national structures overwhelmed, people overwhelmed. So the role of the international community is important. And it's so important that the international community work together, and that's what's happening now with the United Nations and the entire UN system, including the World Bank, and reaching out to the European Commission, working together to support national recovery efforts. We're pleased a lot of work has gone on the post-disaster needs assessment, and more work's needed on early recovery frameworks and recovery frameworks. But the good start of teamwork is by working together, and that's exactly what's happening.
Recent recovery efforts in the wake of major natural disasters such as Cyclone Sidr in Bangladesh, Cyclone Nargis in Myanmar, and the floods in Haiti last year taught us important lessons about how the international community needs to engage. In each case, we needed to move swiftly, working with national and local authorities and presenting one coherent front for the international support effort. This experience confirmed how important it is for us to coordinate closely with all partners as we provide assistance. It also confirmed the need to go beyond the immediate tasks of response and recovery. Such major disasters are a strong indicator of unsustainable development. To prevent their reoccurrence, we are supporting a common tool called Post-Disaster Needs Assessment, which assesses the needs of affected communities. This engagement builds on the strong belief that response and recovery, while vitally important, are not sufficient. We would be failing in our task if we did not also address the underlying risk factors that caused the disaster in the first place.
International Recovery Platform is one of the thematic platforms within the ISDR system. IRP's objective is to function as an international source of knowledge and to address the gaps and constraints currently experienced in the context of disaster recovery. International Recovery Forum and IRP Web share recovery-related knowledge and tools, good practices and lessons learned, to promote Build Back Better.
Disasters by themselves are a case of missed opportunities for those countries which we knew are prone to natural hazards, and we could have done much more by working on prevention and preparedness before the disasters happened. However, after the disasters do happen, we should not let that opportunity go. We can all work together to build a resilient society. Build back better and greener should be our collective objective. Post-disaster recovery and reconstruction programs provide an opportunity for the international system and the national governments and the local communities to work together to build a more resilient society.